Hello, welcome back. This is the video for 2019 April SAT exam section 3, question 15. So in this question, you can see the graphs. You can see a quadratic equation right here, y equals to x squared plus 2x plus 2. So you are asked to pick the correct graph that would reflect the equation. Now, one thing that you can see very similar among all the graphs is that they all have the 2 as the y-intercept because, well, we have a 2 right here. So you can't really use the y-intercept as a little identifier to spot out the dummy choices. So we have to think about, what can we do to find out our choices? Well, can we factor? So you think about, let's go ahead and explore the possibility of factoring. Can we do that? And when you look at x squared plus 2x plus 2, you're like, well, it's not really user-friendly for factoring because you can't seem to find any parentheses that you have this, and you're like, wait, it's going to be 1 and 2, right? No, because the middle term is 2. You can't really have 1 and 2 here, so factoring, it's not going to work, unfortunately. So then we think about, what else can we do? What else can we do? Can we solve for x and find out what the x values are? You could, but that is going to take you some work. So you want to hold that idea just for a while and think about if there is any other option that you can do, and there is, because you should have learned about completing the square so that you know how to get the vertex form. So now, just to quickly review what vertex form is. Vertex form is y equals to a x minus h squared plus k, where h comma k is the vertex. Okay, and we get the vertex form usually by completing the square. So let's do that because it looks like we have a pretty easy task to complete the square. So let's go ahead and move the plus 2 a little bit farther. And the way I'm going to explain completing the square is that you need to know what you are getting, what you want to get. You want to get a perfect square. You want to get a parentheses with a square on the outside. And in this case, we have an a value that's 1, which is nice. So we think about, let me show you the end goal that we want to achieve here. Okay, so we like, so how are we going to get a complete square? You think about, Now, it's very important that you know this. Okay, I'm going to write this here. It's very important that you know this identity. Okay, along with the other one, which is not going to be used here, but I'm just going to write it here as well. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Now, these two are very important identities that you have to know for the SAT exam and also for your high school math career, because we're going to use it a lot in school, we're going to use it a lot in college, and we expect students to be very automatic when you think about the parentheses a plus b squared or parentheses a minus b squared. And this is how we know how to complete the square. Now, first, we must have x because that's x squared. This is a plus, so we know it's a plus. Okay, but now, what is this number right here? Well, that depends on the middle term. And if you look at the middle term right here, that is 2 times a times b. Now, let's go ahead and do a little bit of identification. If you can match it up, the a is our x term right here. Then we ask, what is the b? Well, if you put your attention right here, so we say, oh, you know what? 2 times a times b is equal to 2 times x. Well, we know the 2 is just 2, so you get rid of them. And we know a is equal to x, so we can get rid of them. Well, what's left? B is equal to 1. So by using the identity right here, then we know, okay, let's go ahead and add 1 square, which is 1, but I'm going to write 1 square here. But here is the problem. You can't just add a number out of nowhere. So if you add 1 square in the equation, what you must do is to subtract 1 square at the end. Okay, so that you are not really adding a number out of nowhere. You're adding 1 square and then you subtract it, okay, right away. So now, how does it help? Because if you look very carefully, this part of the expression is going to get us to x plus 1 perfect square. Now, if you say, I don't see it, can you show me more? I would say, sure. Now, let's just do a little side problem here. Let's just prove that x plus 1 square is what we have in the orange box. So if you do the FOIL, okay, now I'm going to show you the FOIL, okay, which is x squared plus x plus 1. You do the FOIL, and that is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 1. Hey, that is exactly the same. All right, now, so that's how you get this through FOIL, but I really want my students to be able to use this identity to say, oh, you know what? This is a plus b squared. So I'm going to show you that, okay, if I know my identities very well, then I would say, okay, a squared, my a is x squared plus 2 times a times b, 2 times x times 1, which is 2x, plus b squared, which is 1. So that's a very good way to prove it. And then 2 minus 1 squared, 1 squared is just 1, so 2 minus 1 squared is just 1. So through this, we can tell that, oh, our vertex is -1, 1. Okay, -1, 1. Okay, make sure that this is a negative right here. So if you see a positive, that means the x value is a negative value, which causes this to be a positive. So which graph has a vertex of -1, 1? Right here, choice B. Now, what would happen if you use the quadratic formula to solve for x? Well, as you can see here, the quadratic graph doesn't touch the x-axis. Then you would end up finding a pair of imaginary roots that it's not going to help you in any way. So that's why it is very important that before you actually start your solving process, you look at the entire picture and think about what are the options on the table so that you can use that best strategy to obtain your answer. If not, you'll be wasting a lot of time and getting nowhere. Okay, so be very comfortable that when you see a quadratic, you think about factoring, you think about completing the square, you think about the quadratic formula. Make sure you know the forms as well. Make sure you do know the vertex form very well, and knowing how to get the equation to the get the original standard form quadratic equation to the vertex form. And if you need more practice, I would suggest you to go online and Google and just search completing the square, quadratic, and I bet you can find a lot of worksheets that you can use it for practices.
Do you want some extra credit? If you do, subscribe our channel. I promise you will learn a lot more and get extra credit from that. If you have any question, please make sure that you email us at goodacademics@gmail.com. If you have any question in math, science, or education, just send them in and we will do our very best to resolve your problems. And I thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that you will continue to learn a lot more through our channel. See you soon.